Good evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Grant Olson is away this evening. I'm Jefferson Robbins. We've got a lot of news to cover for you on this election eve. But before that, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. Look at our cockeyed cashmere camera. A slate gray day around the Wenatchee Valley today. We saw some respite from heavy precipitation, such as the kind that laid down a few inches of snow on Sunday in Leavenworth and the Upper Valley and the Chelan Valley. However, the chance for snow showers persists into Tuesday, and temperatures are likely to remain just as they are now, in the range just above freezing for the foreseeable future. Dan Kuntz is going to be along a little bit later with your full weather forecast. But now a few of the news stories that we're following for you tonight. A motorist faces charges of attempting to run down two Wenatchee police officers who were on foot at the time. A semi-driver from Florida was cited for failing to chain up on Blewett Pass late Sunday night and his vehicle jackknifed near the summit. And a Manson woman who was involved in an October 29th collision near Chelan has died from her injuries. But first, our top story. A woman who pleaded guilty to ramming into a police vehicle last month has now pleaded guilty to charges in both Chelan and Douglas counties and received a 7-year prison sentence. 28-year-old Danielle Renee Reyes was being sought by police on October 19th for frequently fleeing from traffic stops around the Wenatchee Valley. When detectives from the Columbia River Drug Task Force closed in on her near Highway 28 and South Lyle Avenue, she threw her car into reverse and slammed into the front of an unmarked police SUV. The task force vehicle was totaled, and the agency says it will now cost $35,000 to replace. In Douglas County Superior Court on Thursday, Reyes pleaded guilty to second-degree assault, eluding police, malicious mischief, and negligent driving. That's in addition to her Chelan County convictions of DUI and fleeing from a traffic stop. Judge Brian Huber handed down her 84-month sentence. Another motorist faces charges of attempting to run down two Wenatchee police officers who were on foot at the time at midnight. Luis Angel Zuazo Ortiz, age 27, allegedly gunned his SUV toward the officers on October 10th at the intersection of Peachy Street and Walker Avenue while they were assisting with a disabled vehicle. The incident happened just after midnight, and police say Ortiz was wearing sunglasses at the time. They say they later found him in his vehicle unconscious in a Wenatchee parking lot. Ortiz is charged with 2 counts of second-degree assault and remains free on $10,000 bond. He was due to be arraigned today in Chelan County Court and faces trial in January. Well, a semi-driver from Florida was cited for failing to chain up on Blewett Pass late Sunday night after his vehicle jackknifed near the summit. The Washington State Patrol said neither 47-year-old Estras Norales nor a passenger in his semi were injured in the accident just before midnight, but the northbound lane was blocked and southbound lanes were partially blocked for several hours on Highway 97. State Patrol said Norales was driving north when he lost control, left the roadway, and struck a dirt embankment and a highway sign. Chain requirements remained in place today for vehicles over 10,000 pounds gross vehicle weight on the pass. Well, a Manson woman who was involved in an October 29th collision near Chelan has died from her injuries. 74-year-old Donna J. Burgess died Friday at Central Washington Hospital, 1 week after her northbound vehicle was struck at the junction of Highway 97 and 97A north of the city. The opposing driver, Scott E. Tomlinson of Buckley, was not injured. Burgess remained hospitalized in Wenatchee until her death. Washington State troopers cited the 36-year-old Tomlinson for failure to yield. Well, when we come back, campaign spending is hitting record highs in Chelan County's current political campaigns. We'll look at the top dollar races on your ballot in tomorrow's election. Plus, local election leaders walk us through the process of authenticating and counting each vote we cast. I'm Jefferson Robbins, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Hello, my name is Alan Blackman, and I am running for Chelan County District Court Judge. It has been my honor to serve you as a prosecutor and public servant. I have worked hard to keep our communities safe. I have the knowledge and courage but also the compassion and integrity to address mental health and substance abuse in our local courts. Please vote for the most experienced. Vote for balance, compassion, and integrity. Vote Blackman for judge.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. It remains to be seen if more money equals more votes in Chelan County's contested elections, but the dollars are adding up. Filings with the Washington Public Disclosure Commission show independent candidate Ann Hesberg has raised more than $75,000 in the race to take an open county commissioner seat. She's both outraised and outspent her Republican opponent, Sean Smith, by more than 2-to-1. The $109,000 total fundraising far outpaces the last campaign for an open commissioner seat. Two Republicans who squared off in 2020, Tiffany Gearing and Dale England, raised just over $38,000 between them. Meanwhile, the race for sheriff threatens to be the most expensive in Chelan County history. Incumbent Brian Burnett has pulled in $88,000 in a bid to retain his seat for a fourth term. His challenger, Mike Morrison, has raised more than $42,000. Both men are running as Republicans. When Burnett first won office in 2010, he and his opponent raised a total of just $66,000. That's less than half the total for the sheriff's race this year. Finally, Alan Blackman, a candidate for district court judge, has raised almost $30,500 compared to his opponent, John Volin, with just over $17,000. The two men are battling over a judicial vacancy left behind by Judge Roy Four. Well, with Election Day tomorrow, both Chelan and Douglas counties are seeing a big influx of ballots that may not be fully tabulated until days or even more than a week after the election. Douglas County Auditor Thad Duvall and Chelan County Auditor Skip Moore talked with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz about the process the ballots go through to be validated and then counted.
When we bring the ballots in, we separate them and put them in batches. And then the first thing we do after we do that, when we log them in to where they came from, is then we take them to the signature checking station. And so if Skip holds that up there and covers the address.
Thank you, Skip.
We take the signature and we compare it with the one we have on hand in the computer. And if we get a match at that point, then the voter is credited for voting. And then I'll let Skip take it from there.
Right, because it's that's a big control. Is we scan this, the barcode that's on the bottom here, we scan that and that brings up your voter file. Mm-hmm. We see the signature on screen, gives us the reference sample, we check the signature, so now we can pretty much are certain that you returned your ballot and you're credited voting. At that point, we still got a lot more to do with this ballot. We've got to take it from there, it goes over to a machine or, depending on the process, we slice the envelope so we can get into it. Our process is we've got a pretty cool machine that drops the machine, takes slices on two sides, little suction cups, grab the outside of the envelope and pull it open. So the operator can just pull out the secrecy sleeve and the ballot at the same time. And then in that process, you can't even see the signature, which goes back to that privacy issue or secrecy side of it. When they pull out the envelope, the ballot and the secrecy sleeve, the machine automatically advances this envelope away, and then the next one that's pulled out, it's gone. So the chance of knowing how someone voted is taken out of the process because you've got ballot in one hand, envelope in the other, and they go in different directions at that point. So we can't track back how an individual voted based upon just opening the envelope and just, well, how'd this go? We don't do that, we spread them apart. And that also is a control at the end of the election. For every ballot that we're tabulating, we have an envelope and a signature from the voter, which serves kind of like a poll book of the old days. Mm-hmm. So many ballots, so many envelopes and signatures. That's how we balance the process.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, Eastmont students undergo a hands-on process to learn about living with disabilities. That plus weather with Dan Kuntz and sports with Eric Granstrom. Still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Fellow Chelan County residents, this is Sean Smith. As a local business owner, I understand the increasing challenges of survival. And as a father of 4, I understand the need for a safe environment for our families. As a lifetime resident, I am seeing changes that are not productive or safe. As your next county commissioner, I will work diligently to make sure things get better. County commissioners face a lot more than just community development, and you must be prepared to work on all levels of county government. I am ready, willing, and capable, and would ask for your vote.
I'm Dr. Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She says the massacre at Sandy Hook was staged. She claims there's no evidence terrorists hit the Pentagon on 9/11. She's even called for members of Congress to be executed. And this is Matt Larkin. He says he, quote, aligns with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why Matt Larkin is dangerous, because the last thing we need is another Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress.
Welcome back. Back in October, educators at Cascade Elementary in East Wenatchee mounted a program to help students learn about living with disabilities. In this video, produced by the Eastmont School District, Administrator Jennifer Robichaux outlined how the program worked to broaden kids' awareness of disability and how it contributes to learning.
My name is Jennifer Robichaux, and I'm the assistant principal here at Cascade Elementary. I was approached by Kim Browning to create an event to help foster education and awareness of our disabled students here on campus. We have 7 different stations here, and each station represents a type of learning diversity that we may or may not have here at Cascade. We have a sensory station where students are attempting to put small beads wearing gloves onto a string. We also have a communication station where students are experiencing what it's like to communicate using a low-tech visual communication board. We have a hard of hearing station where students are wearing noise-blocking earmuffs to sort of simulate what it's like to hear a teacher if they had a hearing impairment. We also have a vision and hearing station here, and that's sort of to help students understand what it's like to have a visual as well as a hearing impairment at the same time. We have a physical disability station, and that's to help students understand what it's like to navigate this campus if they were in a wheelchair. So they're trying to get in and out of exits without the help of anybody. We have a sensory station where we're watching an autism video, and it's supposed to mimic or help us experience what it would be like for a student that has a sensory processing disorder, such as autism. So they're listening to and hearing a video at the same time. It's very disorienting. And so it's really supporting that knowledge and that empathy towards other students who do have those types of disabilities. But it's also helping them understand that it's okay not to be scared of people who are different. We pride ourselves on what we do here at Cascade. Literally, all means all here at Cascade. That's our motto that we believe by and that we live by and that we practice on a daily basis. We couldn't do this without our parent volunteers. We have an amazing group of amazing volunteers here at Cascade, and this event would not happen without them. We're doing this for 5 days. We have morning and afternoon sessions, and I just can't say thank you enough to those people that reached out and are donating their time and their energy and their efforts to help support our students.
Filling in for Grant Olson, I am Dan Coons. After a stormy and dramatic weekend from Mother Nature, here's a shot just outside the Whitehall estate in western Wenatchee where it snowed off and on. During significant parts of the weekend, the big story, look at the snow. This is from last night about 8 o'clock. The big story was the massive amount of rain we got. Almost a half an inch on Friday, not too much on Saturday, and then another more than half an inch of rain that we had on Sunday. You add all those 3 days together, we had 1.10 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain for the Wenatchee Valley. And now the big story, and we're going to get into it in detail, is the cold. Only 37 today. That's 11 degrees below our normal high temperatures, but the high temperatures are going to be closer to our normal overnight lows by the time we get to the middle of the week. I kid you not. So we had just a little bit of light rain today, but we are starting to really catch up on that rain gauge as far as the month of November is concerned after a very dry, arid, drought-filled October. Mother Nature is filling up the spigot in a big way, and of course a lot of snow in many locations. Conconelli got 26 inches of snow over the weekend. Omak had over a foot. No snow in the forecast for the most part. In fact, we're going to be high and dry. 37 our high today, 30 for the overnight low. Again, much cooler than we would normally see for the regular afternoon high. And you know what? It's going to get a lot colder than that. Let's take a look at some of the temperatures we're going to be expecting tomorrow around north central Washington. This temperature is very consistent, very consistent. 35 in Moses Lake, 35 in Ephrata, just a tick warmer in Quincy. Wenatchee is only going to get to 32, freezing. That's it for a high temperature tomorrow. Ellensburg a little bit warmer. Lake Wenatchee, Leavenworth, always a couple of degrees cooler. 35 in Chelan, 33 in Omak. But again, only 32 forecast high on Tuesday. What's going on? That big low that's sitting right out there ain't going anywhere. It came in and it's just sitting there, and the jet stream is going up over British Columbia and it's taking all that ice cold air and coming right down. So the real story over the next 5, 6, 7 days right into the weekend, mostly clear skies, so we're going to see some sunshine, but there'll be no blanket at night to keep the valley warm, and we need that for moderate overnight low temperatures. That's not going to happen as the cold Arctic air comes in. As you can see, very little wind, just cold air seeping down and settling not only over the north central Washington area, the Wenatchee Valley, but it'll be cold everywhere in the Pacific Northwest with very, very chilly temperatures. I hope you had a chance to blow out your sprinkler system. And this is going to continue right on into the weekend. Look at the overnight lows. Veterans Day. The holiday is, the Veterans Day is actually, of course, on Saturday. Going to be celebrated on Friday. Going to be a chilly day for a Veterans Day parade in downtown Wenatchee. And if this cold temperatures are not going to go anywhere. Hit and miss clouds, but for the most part, we're going to see afternoon high temperatures only in the lower 30s. And for the most part, we're going to see the overnight lows in the teens, record low temperatures, a distinct possibility. We could even see record low high temperatures, if that makes sense to you. It's all within our wheelhouse for the rest of the week for the Wenatchee Valley and all of north central Washington. So without further ado, here we go. Batten down the hatches, folks, and get yourself a sweatshirt and make sure your thermostat's working. 38 is what we topped off today. We'll get down to 23 for the overnight low tonight. The cold weather isn't going anywhere. Again, you see those high temperatures, 32, 33, 33. That's our normal overnight low, not our afternoon high, and overnight lows in the teens to maybe 20 degrees. This pattern looks pretty unshakable for the next 4 or 5 days. The cold air has come in, and now there's no system to knock it out. If you don't like the cold, you'll have to go elsewhere, folks, because it's going to be well below normal for our afternoon highs and overnight lows right into the weekend. But at least we're back to standard time. There's that, I suppose. At your weather forecast, still to come, sports with Eric Grandstrom. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Hey there. I wanted to let you know I'm choosing Ann Hesberg for Chelan County Commissioner, and why. Now, you may have noticed Ann's running as an independent. That's because she is, in the best sense of the word. Ann thinks deeply about issues and looks at tough subjects from all sides. She asks questions, looking to add light to an issue, not just heat. And Ann really, truly listens. She cares. Ann has my vote because her voice represents all of ours.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Ann Hesberg.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel. And a happy Monday to you. The Seahawks have now won 4 straight after a 31-21 win over Arizona yesterday. Geno Smith led the offense on 3 long touchdown drives in the second half after giving up a pick 6 that gave Arizona a brief lead. Smith says he and his teammates are all about bouncing back from adversity.
Sometimes things are going to happen that, the ball's not going to bounce your way. A couple times it did bounce my way. And, it's how you respond. I think we responded great as a team, going 3 straight drives, finishing with touchdowns, long drives, tough drives. Everyone in the stadium knew the magnitude of those drives. And for us to, go down there and get scores and get touchdowns, I think it's showing you what type of team we are and what type of team we can be.
Smith threw 2 touchdown passes. Kenneth Walker, the third, rushed for 109 yards and a couple of touchdowns to seal the victory. Coach Pete Carroll says Seattle is consistently playing good, complementary football.
What happened today is we saw us respond to, we turned the ball over, they scored a touchdown, and then our guys just went for it. And we finished the game the way we dream of finishing it, running the football and taking care of the ball and not letting them have it, getting after the quarterback, all that stuff that took place in the fourth quarter there. So I really cherished the finish that we put together. We had 3 drives, there's 13 for 75, 13 for 80 something, and then the last one, I don't know, 80, whatever that one was 85 or something. Yeah, so that's just, you got to be doing it right. And we have to give credit to the guys up front. They did a great job again, and they really came through run and pass, protecting the quarterback, all of the different actions that we did. But then the running game, too, was really something. So
Seattle improved to 6-3 with a win and will travel to Munich, Germany Sunday to face Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Brady, by the way, led the Bucs to a game-winning touchdown with 9 seconds left to beat the Rams yesterday, 16-13. Seattle lead in the NFC West, couple of games over San Francisco. Well, it was a great Pac-12 weekend for Washington's schools. Washington converted an 18-play, 92-yard drive into a game-winning field goal to beat 23rd-ranked Oregon State Friday, 24-21 the final. Coach Kalen DeBoer says it was a night for the Huskies to show they could overcome adversity.
What a game. Finding a way to win. That's what we talked about, we have a goal of winning championships, and we talked about at halftime. You want to be a championship caliber team. You got to find ways to battle and fight and win games like this. The physical ones, the ones that go back and forth, and the ones that have the adversity that hits you, and throw in there if you lose, the lights go out, throw that in there now too. But certainly proud of just the resiliency and the fight.
Meanwhile, Nakia Watson rushed for 166 of Washington State's 306 yards on the ground. Cougars rolled over Stanford 52-14. Coach Jake Dickert says it was Wazoo's best game of the season.
Winning's a magic elixir, and it just grows so much confidence and belief. But before you win a game like that, I saw it on Monday, I saw it on Tuesday, I saw it in Wednesday's practice, I saw it on the travel, I saw it this morning when we ate pregame. There's a look in the eye. They're hungry. They wanted to win. We wanted to get back out here. We want to show the type of team we can be, and the credit to the coaches and the plan, but the credit to the players that go out there and play with that kind of effort, that kind of energy, and that type of execution. We knew we had a couple of days in preparation on Stanford. I thought it showed.
Also on Saturday, Eastern Washington had no answer for Idaho's Hayden Hatton. The junior wide receiver caught 4 touchdown passes in the Vandals' 48-16 win over the Eagles. Central Washington was on upset alert at second-ranked Angelo State, leading 9-0 at half. But the Rams came back to improve to 10-0 with a 22-12 win. We'll stay on the gridiron here, go to high school football, into a rain-soaked Wildcat Stadium where Eastmont hosted Richland, with a winner advancing to the state tournament. Grant and I had the call here on the NCWLIFE channel. It was Richland using the ground game. In fact, they beat Eastmont at its own game, running the ball for 203 yards on the night. Eastmont's Gunnar Peterson finished with 3 touchdown runs, but not enough as the Wildcat season came to an end. Moses Lake gave Gonzaga Prep all it could handle, but it fell to the Bullpups 28-26. Chiawana crushed West Valley 42-0. Davis won for only the first time this season, downing Ferris 14-12. Sunnyside advanced to state with a 25-15 win over Hanford. Here's a look at the 4A bracket. Grizzlies are a 16 seed and will face top-ranked Chiawana in the opening round. Richland, a 13 seed, will face number 4 Kennedy Catholic. Kashmir ends up being the the only Caribou Trail League team to advance as a state 1A tournament after a narrow 12-6 win over Colville Friday. And a surprise, Omak fell to Riverside 16-13. Chelan fell to Newport. Quincy topped Medical Lake. Cascade fell at Deer Park 30-13. Cashmere is an 11 seed heading into the state 1A tournament. Will travel to La Center Friday in the first round of the playoffs. Okanagan advanced to the state 2B tournament with a 55-7 win over Lynn Britsville Sprague Friday. Brewster's season came to an end, falling to Jenkins Chewelah 20-14. Bridgeport finished on a winning note. Northwest Christian shut out Manson, and Liberty edged Lake Roosevelt 15-6 on Saturday. Entiat fell to Welpin at 62-20. Okanagan, number 2 seed for the state 2B tournament, and will have a bye into the quarterfinals in a couple of weeks. Ephrata and Othello survived the weekend of crossover playoff games to advance to the state 2A tournament. Tigers traveled to Clarkston, won an upset 17-7. Othello rolled over Shadle Park 48-14. Ellensburg's season also came to an end, falling to Rogers on Saturday 28-7. Tigers, a 15 seed, will travel to WF West in the first round of the state 2A tournament. Othello will host Washington. The Wenatchee volleyball team won a district championship on the road in Yakima Saturday. Panthers beat West Valley for the second time this season, this time in 4 games, 20-25, 27-25, 30-30, and 25-14 to win its second consecutive district championship. Eastmont advanced to a last chance at state with a win over Davis, but then fell to West Valley in 3 straight, 25-13, 21, and 18. Chelan, by the way, advanced to the state 1A tournament with a 3-game sweep of Colville Saturday. Cashmere had its season come to an end, falling in 3 games to Freeman. Chelan is the number 1 overall seed for the state tournament this Friday and Saturday at the Sundome, and will face the Bear Creek School in the first round. Manson is the District 6 2B champions after a 3-1 win over Brewster Saturday at Omak High School. Okanagan will be the other team headed to the state 2B tournament after a sweep of Lake Roosevelt. Here's a look at the bracket. Manson is the number 2 seed and will face Walla Walla Valley Academy in the first round of the Sundome Thursday. Brewster draws Liberty on the first round, while Okanagan will face LeConner. Entiat, Waterville, Mansfield also will head to Yakima Thursday for the first round of the state 1B volleyball tournament. Tigers will face Northport, while the Shockers play Orcas Island. Eastmont soccer season came to an end in Yakima on Saturday. Wildcats were shut out by West Valley 3-0 in a last chance at state. Wenatchee drew a 13 seed and will be on the road at Gonzaga Prep on Wednesday at 5 o'clock for the first round of the state 4A tournament. Both Cashmere and Cascade had their soccer seasons come to an end in crossover games on Saturday. Bulldogs fell at home to Freeman 4-1. Cascade lost at Deer Park 4-0. Okanagan and Tonasket advanced in the District 6-7 crossover games. The Bulldogs beat St. George's 3-1, while the Tigers down Reardon 4-1. Liberty Bell and Brewster had their seasons come to an end with losses. Okanagan will await the winner of Davenport and Cle Elum Roslyn for its first round state 1B2B playoff game. Tonasket faces Adna in the first round. Cross country also season came to an end with the state championships. That was at Sun Willows Golf Course on Saturday in Pasco. Ephrata's Hayden Roberts took 10th in the 2A boys run. Cascade boys finished 6th in the 1A run. Liberty Bell's Leakey Albright took 3rd and led the Lady Lions to a 4th place finish in the 1B2B run. Brewster's Cadence Carrington took 7th. Liberty Bell's boys also did well, finishing 4th as a team behind a 4th place finish from Dexter Delaney and 5th from William Halpin. Brewster's Juan David Martinez finished 9th. Lots more on our website. Go there for more. Right now, back to Jefferson Robbins. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Eric. It's like the Moby Dick of sports. Just keep going and going. And that'll do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website, ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we would like to hear from you. You can send us an email, news@ncwlife, or give us a call, 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins, filling in for Grant Olson. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life channel.
You've got a lot to do today. While you're out and about, remember to dispose of your unused medications safely and anonymously. It's a simple act that makes your home a safer place. Next time you're at the pharmacy, just place them in the drop box. To find a location, visit medproject.org.